And for the Pledge of Allegiance. Next on the agenda is the approval of agenda. I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Rogalski.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Vogel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It passes 6-0. For the record, Mrs. Feather is not in attendance tonight. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Item A, approval of minutes from the regular meeting 9/28/2023. Item B, approval of minutes from the executive session 9/28/2023. Item C, the enrollment report 10/1/2023. Item D, school bus inspection reports 10/1/2023. Item E, the residency truancy report 10/1/2023. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Rogalski.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Vogel and Ms. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda is personnel announcements. Mrs. Drezek.
Good evening. Tonight we have 4 appointments. I would like to start off with the appointment of Mrs. Pamela Storm, effective 10/16/2023, as our new principal at McCourt Middle School. Welcome, Mrs. Storm.
We're going to say Pam Storm is here tonight. Pam, please come up for a second. Just want to recognize you for the audience at home. So, just a few quick words. It really is an honor to have Pam Storm here this evening. She's certainly earned this position. She's been a true team player. She's a learner, and we're excited to have her on the team. I just wanted the audience at home to see you, Pam. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Step up. Can I just say thank you?
I just want to say thank you to the school committee, thank you to Beth and Tanya, Bonnie, Phil, Tony, Mike, and an amazing team that I have here supporting me. I wouldn't be where I am without my McCourt family and my help and my mentor. So I'm very excited to take on this. So thank you so much.
We also have a few other appointments. We have Bonnie Hallenbeck, effective 10/23, an elementary education teacher in the Success Program at BF Norton for 1 year only. Effective 10/10, Donald Incutto, grade 6 social studies, 1 year only at McCourt. 10/16/2023, Nancy Alves, MLL teacher, 1 year only at McCourt. We have 1 resignation, effective 10/16, Sarah Godino, MLL teacher at North Cumberland Middle School and Community. And we have 1 retirement after 17 years of service, Visbella Martins, custodian at Garvin School.
Thank you, Mrs. Drezek. And congratulations again, Pamela Storm. We're excited to have you on board. All right. Next up on the agenda is report out of executive session meeting on 10/12/2023. Report out of executive session votes. We did not take any votes in executive session. Next item is a vote to seal the minutes of the executive session. I need a motion to seal the minutes. Motion by Mrs. Rogalski. Second by Mrs. Vogel. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Thornton.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Mike, take it away. First up, if you didn't know, it's October. It's National Principals Month. Principals don't always get the credit they deserve. Having been in one of those roles, I mean, it's only gotten more complicated over the years. They are certainly academic leaders. They are listeners, mediators, construction decision makers now. It's a 24/7 job. They're on call, and it's truly a credit to the team. We have a lot of folks here tonight. We have a great team in Cumberland. I'm really proud of them, and I just want to recognize them for their work. So thank you all. Our next topic, resident average daily membership. I talk about it a lot with you. October 1, RIDE captures our enrollment number called the RADM. It's different than all the kids on our rolls, if you will. It's how many kids on average show up, if you will. So what this tells you is we're getting more kids. That's good. So when the state aid is calculated by RIDE, how much money Cumberland gets next year, it's going to go up again. We don't have the exact number yet because many towns in Rhode Island are losing students, and I think there's still some discussion, how do they smooth that out to kind of soften the blow for towns losing lots of kids. In our case, we're going to gain 66 more kids. Last year, we gained around 51 kids in our RADM, and our aid went up $2 million. So 66, I'll let you kind of do the math on that if that stayed the same. The second factor we look at always is free reduced lunch. A few months ago, we were worried we were not having the same numbers as last year. We were underreporting. We now have 17 more kids than last year. Once again, that metric's going up in the right direction. So coming soon, when RIDE does the calculation in the winter, we do expect to see more funding for Cumberland. That's really good news. I just wanted to give you that information. Next up, before I do the usual, let's talk about the paint smell at community school and get into it a little bit, give you some info. So I know I talked to some parents and they were thinking, we had maybe, planned this event to happen, but we did not plan an event to, have a smelly painting situation. Long story short, if you know community, there's a new section of community with a new awning, if you will, and the protocol is to paint this product in different colors underneath it. The red color, the mix was not correct and it didn't dry fast enough over the weekend. Compounding the problem, the heaters were left on and all the fresh air was pulled in for 3 days into the building. So we walk in Tuesday morning and it's a strong paint smell that's been in the building circulating for the weekend. So that morning, quickly, a little after 8, we had to make a decision to not have school that day, right? And then mitigate the situation, whether it be air circulation, air purifiers, ventilation. We even tarped the area, talking to the vendor. So then Wednesday came around the next day. We still didn't feel we were ready, if you will, so we wanted to wait till today to come back. Also knowing that, folks may have a question saying, well, I walked around with my nose, and so did the principal, and so did the contractor. How about an independent body to kind of certify what we're doing? I should first mention the product they used didn't have any VOCs, volatile, help me, Mike, organic compounds. No VOCs in the paint, which is a good thing. However, we still wanted to get an independent body in there. The challenge is if you get companies like Vortex, they could take 48 hours to get a result to you. So we did actually have an idea, and we got help from our fire chief, Chief Anderson. They came out this morning with the hazmat team. And they have the device you see right here. It registers oxygen in 20s, what you want to see. It does methane, it does VOC, and it does carbon monoxide. And that's a perfect reading right there. So we got a clean bill of health, and that was good. Before the kids came in at 7 o'clock, we knew we were correct with our assumption. So having said that, certainly not a planned event to have a closure. As far as the closure, folks are asking, what's that mean? A couple things can happen. Within 5 days of an event like a boiler breaking or a paint situation, we can ask RIDE for forgiveness for the days. We did that yesterday in a letter to the commissioner. If that fails, the next piece would be, as you may know from our calendar, we have 3 days to give for snow this year with our minutes over the minimum. If we had no snow days this winter, we could certainly still forgive 2 of communities within those 3. So we have to wait and see what happens first with the commissioner's letter and see what she does with that, and then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So, long story short, we don't think that's going to be a repeat performance. The construction company certainly is apologetic for the situation, and we're just moving forward. I just wanted you to have that, and thank the chief for helping us this morning to kind of confirm what we thought we had. So happy to answer any questions on the paint smell before I go on.
Mr. Fiorello?
Did we incur any expenses trying to air out the building, and who's paying for that?
So the expense would just be our staff time, regular time of our folks. The air purifier is just our team working the building.
Okay.
Thank you. Mike?
Mr. Rogalski has a
Oh,
question.
sorry.
I just wondered if you could explain, I think most of us understand, but why can't the windows be left open overnight for the school to air out? Because I know I saw some parents asking that. It's the safety.
Last night, we closed them last night because we talked about having that independent test by the hazmat folks. If we left the windows open last night, we'd be testing the open air. That'd be like cheating. We had to close the windows to get an accurate reading of the building this morning. So we sealed the building up last night. We did open the previous night when we weren't testing, but if I open the windows all night and tested, I'm testing outside air. And that's not an honest test. So we had to seal everything off, close down the HVAC, close the vents, and test the air that was trapped in that building for like 9 o'clock at night till 6:30 in the morning. Tonight, the front, you'll see some windows open at community as we're ventilating once again. And moving on, the addition at Garvin is moving along, and we are getting close to the end. This is one of the 2 classrooms. The flooring is in. The above ceiling inspection was passed today. They'll be putting in the ceiling tiles on Monday in all the areas. That's one of the classrooms. That's the other classroom, and same thing. That's all just the ceilings left, and we're done there. Hallway area, painting going on. Otherwise, we're done. That's going to the cafeteria, and that's all done except for the ceiling. That's the cafeteria. So the lighting is in, much like community school, right? Lighting is in, just the ceiling and the flooring, and they're painting on the outside right now at that location. And that's the kitchen floor first coat. There are 3 coats. That's coat 1. Very exciting for me to get that picture, but it's nice textured flooring. 2 more coats to go. It'll be 1 color when it's done. They seeded the grass, so that was I was really asking them to do that before we lose the the month. So we're seeding. That's 1 picture. Also, before I go forward, the town will be putting in trees with a federal grant program all along the fence line. So picture some nice 8-10 foot green giants along the fence line. That's happening any day now from the town. Thank you, town. New fencing going in alongside the basketball court. The court's being done in the next 2 weeks, I've been told. That's the court we did with the school committee's blessing for a while ago for funding, so that's on the schedule. This is exciting for us at Garvin. Those 2 big things are HVAC units number 4 and number 5. They were back ordered. They're the heat for part of the building. So they came in on time, and we're connecting them. We will have them in time. So they came in and they're mounted. They're actually called rooftop units, but they're not on the roof here. They're actually on the side of the roof. And this is just a picture of the technology is in, the cameras, the kind of the wide-angle cameras all through the building, and once again, some seating in the front. And there's another shot of the seating in the front. That's from the town. Once again, that's the extra parking we put in, the queuing to get cars off the road. We kind of striped it now, so they have 2 lanes to go in to get cars off the main road. And this is the big one for us. This was ordered in August of 2022, and it just came in. That's the new electrical panel for the addition. Since COVID, they're not making as many. You can't get the parts. Over a year for this, and it's in. Very exciting. So it's in, and we're putting it up, I think, on the weekend. That's happening. Next. Oh, that's it. So timeline for Garvin. They're looking to turn it over to us for waxing and cleaning around October 26th, maybe even a few days earlier. October 23rd, the kitchen equipment goes in. We think probably maybe, November, second week November, could be the open house goal to get folks to see the new space and the whole building, for that matter, at Garvin. So it is finally coming to an end at Garvin, so that's exciting. Happy to answer any questions on the construction. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you again to all the principals for all the great work that you do every single day. Next on the agenda is reports of standing committees. Fiscal Management Subcommittee update. Mr. Collins.
Good evening. Thank you. The Fiscal Management Subcommittee met this evening. It was kind of a quiet night, but we do have payment of the bills and 23 resolutions for the committee's consideration later on in the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Next is the Policy and Procedures Subcommittee update. Mr. Fiorillo.
Policy and procedures did not meet this week.
Next is the Achievement and Communications Subcommittee update. We also did not meet this week. Next is the District Health and Wellness Subcommittee update. Mr. Rogalski?
We have our
Great, thank you. Next item on the agenda is comments from the public. If anyone from the public would like to speak. Okay. Thank you, President Kinch, for being here tonight. Nice to see you out there. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item A, vote to approve the MOA for ICSI Sixth Bank opt-in. This matter was discussed in exec, so may I have a motion to approve? Motion by Mrs. Rogalski. Second by Mrs. Vogel. Any discussion? Mr. Fiorello?
Just for the folks playing at home, the ICSA union is all of our support staff, our TAs, our custodial staff, our maintenance staff. I'm sure I'm forgetting a group of people somewhere along the way. And of course, the MOA is the memorandum of agreement, so.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. The next item on the agenda, item B, vote on resignation and separation agreement with middle school principal. The committee discussed this matter in exec. May I have a motion to approve the resignation of Javier Gutierrez effective October 13th and to approve this separation agreement?
So moved?
Motion by Mr. Collins. Second by Mr. Fiorello. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda, item C. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Mr. Adams, actually, we would like you to read the statement related to item B.
So the school committee and Mr. Gutierrez agreed to a joint statement concerning his separation. This will be the only statement that either party will make, and the statement is as follows. The school committee and the superintendent recognize that there were scheduling issues at McCourt Middle School at the beginning of the school year. The Cumberland School Department conducted an internal review of the process to create the schedule, and McCourt's principal, Javier Gutierrez, was briefly placed on administrative, on leave during the review. The parties have differing perspectives on the cause of the scheduling problems. In view of these mitigating factors, Mr. Gutierrez and the Cumberland School Committee have decided to mutually separate from their employment relationships. Both parties wish each other well. That's the end of the statement.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Next item on the agenda is presentation by middle school administrators on their roles at the middle schools.
Madam Chair, if I could just
Principal Coughlin and
kind of kick it
Principal
off.
Salon.
I think, certainly this year, we've seen a lot of teamwork at the middle schools, and I think sometimes the committee might not get a sense for, what goes into middle school administration. So I want to take opportunity to have these folks come before you and give you a sense of what the job entails. So if you could take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the committee for allowing us to speak this evening. I want to just personally express my excitement and support for our new principal at McCourt Middle School. I've been having the pleasure of working with Pam very closely over the past few weeks, and I have to say it's been great. I think a good decision was made, and I think both schools are going to benefit from that. So congratulations. We just want to talk to you. We're going to be very brief. To talk to you about the Cumberland Middle Schools. Quite often you hear about North Cumberland Middle School, you hear about McCourt Middle School as two separate entities. In this new administrative team, we really want to focus on the collaboration of the two schools and really talk about what middle school students are going to look like and become and be successful at as they're moving through the two schools. So 2 middle schools, 1 focus. Our common goal is to provide all middle school students with a learning environment in which high expectations are the norm, behavior standards are aligned, and demonstration of growth is a priority. And that's true for both schools, and that's something that we're going to be working together to achieve. We're going to be focusing our work our targeted focus will be common with clear communication to all of our staff, families, school committee, administration. Accountability is going to be key, and of course, a real strong collaboration between the two schools. Before I get into what this year is going to look like, I'd like to bring you back a little bit and show you what we do to prepare for our school year. So when we get started in a school year, opening of school does not happen on the first week of September, okay? There's a lot of work that goes in order to prepare for the opening of the school year. And it starts with compiling all of the student data, whether it from the students that we have in school who are moving to the next grade level. In our 5th grade students, we gather all of the data that describe the students' learning and where they are in their level of proficiency, what supports are needed, what level of acceleration is appropriate. We put all of that information together. Analyzing that student data is an exorbitant job. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of hours, but that's really where the work pays off in the end. So through the development of or analyzing the data, we're then able to develop what the schedule is going to look like. We have to decide what courses are going to be offered, the number of sections offered for each course. We have to make sure IEP and MLL requirements are met. We need to strategically plan a student schedule. It's not about just putting bodies in a class. It's about making sure the bodies are put in the right class with the right staff during the right time and making sure all of their schedules are the best fit for each student. And through all of this, creative problem solving is also a huge factor in the development of a successful schedule, as well as maintaining contractual requirements. So all of this summer work then results in the start of a smooth school year. Now, on top of the schedule work, we're also preparing our building for opening, and also we're identifying our focuses and priorities for the school year. So that leads us up to the school year, and that's where we are right now. This work we tend to do separately. We intend to do moving forward collaboratively. Moving on to ongoing work. So in order to maintain our a culture of high expectations for learning, which both schools are passionate about, some of the work that we plan to do and then work together in order to improve both sites is to visit classroom. We continuously monitor student data. Now, when we monitor student data, it's not just us looking at how students are progressing. It's a shared responsibility amongst all staff. So we keep our own spreadsheets on every single student in the school, and this is for both schools. Every single student has their data tracked from the moment that they finish their 5th grade year, that end of year data, to the moment they leave us in 8th grade. We're looking at the student and determining, are they progressing? Do they need supports? How are we doing as a grade level, as a school, and as a middle school entity? So this is something that we're tracking on a daily basis. The beauty of it is our data sheets are spread out to the entire staff. They are inputting the information. They're also tracking their data. Not only are they tracking their own students' data, they're also looking at, well, what happened to my students next year? The best time of day is when Mrs. Rayo and I know you'll see this soon, the best time of day is when you're in a meeting, you open that student spreadsheet, and you have 18 faces on the spreadsheet of staff members looking at the data of students continuously throughout the day. That's definitely a culture shift from way back when, but teachers are really in tune to how their students are progressing. With the, another thing that we are we're going to be working really hard at is supporting and actively participating in district work. So the work that comes out of Mr. DeMona's office with his team, really it's prepared for the teachers, but what has been successful for us is also to take part in that work. So that's something we'll be continuing to do. We respond to student need with tiered interventions, behavior supports, family involvement. Both of us have target teams that meet weekly. We've always, run them as separate entities. We want to start collaborating what we're doing to support one another. Align academic expectations across content-specific classrooms by providing time and structure for effective CPTs. We want to monitor student progress with a focus on accuracy and data-driven instruction. And that's super important because what's happening at one school should be happening at the other school. As we measure students across 7th grade, we should have a consistency and an accuracy with the data we collect. That's something that we're working really strongly on, and that a lot of the collaboration that's going to happen between the two schools is only going to improve the accuracy of the student data that is generated. Student accountability for learning is something that we are working on for both schools, and staff support in providing a high quality instruction to their students. Now, how are we going to measure our success? And we do so by data that reflects growth in academic proficiency. That's what we're looking for. RICAS targets met or exceeded. NGS targets met or exceeded. Growth in all subgroups. School accountability in both schools that reflects positive gains in all areas. So this is the work that we're excited to do. I know I did all the talking, but, but we tried to rush through, but we're really excited. We're really excited with the collaboration, and we're really excited for all middle school students in Cumberland. Thank you.
Thank you. I, for one, am so excited to see this work. I think it's a long time coming. Two schools, one focus. We know what the past has been like, and all of the work that Mr. Devana's team has done around our data-driven instruction and our focus on achievement results has paid off, and I think this is just going to, like, send us over the moon. I mean, I think it's so wonderful, and it's so great to see you up there as a team, and just, I just love this. I love this. It makes you wonder why we didn't do this a while ago, but we're doing it now, so that's
Yeah, that is
great.
good.
Any comments or questions from the school committee?
I'd just like to say thank you to the three of you for all the hard work you've been doing, and I'm sure you'll be doing a lot more coming in the coming months. Thank
And
you.
for Mrs. Storm's sake, we're looking forward to a fourth.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, next on the agenda, we have a discussion and a vote to approve principal's mentorship stipend.
Madam Chair, building on last agenda's item, we have a strong middle school team. We also have a new principal in Ms. Storm, and we also have a highly effective veteran principal in Beth Coughlin. So my thought was, what better opportunity than to have a mentor relationship with our two middle school principals. So that is my intent. I do confess I did not finish my homework. I wanted to give you a job description of what that exactly entails. So if we could table it till next meeting, I'll bring you back the completed JD and have you react to
Job
it at that
description.
time. Job description at that
JD,
time.
New lingo. Yes, thank you, Dr. Thornton, and I think this is also a wonderful idea to have an established mentorship across the schools. And thank you, Mrs. Coughlin, for stepping up and being willing to do that, because I know that will be a lot of work, too. But, yeah, I can't wait to see your, like, end of school year report. And so maybe we could do that, like, in June or something, Dr. Thornton. Okay, so we are tabling that item.
Motion to table.
I don't, motion, okay, Mr. Fiorello makes a motion to table. Might as well. Second by Mrs. Rogalski, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0, that is tabled. Next item is discussion and a vote to approve the 2023-2024 school bus routes.
Madam Chair, last time I took you through Ms. Walton's bus report. I won't take you through the whole report again this evening. I'll just point out that while we have a few late buses, they are in the window. There are two outside of the window, and both of those, I would argue, would not be a Durham issue, if you will. One being we had a major traffic problem at Mendon Road a few weeks back, and then we had, I think, a high school event which made them late. But overall, once again, I think it's pretty good news on most of our runs. But per your policy, at some point now, you would vote on the bus stops, the bus routes. So I'm bringing it to you for your potential consideration tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Thornton. Mrs. Smith?
Dr. Thornton, could we have the report that Mrs. Walton's been putting together? I think it's been out from the last time too, how many buses were late, what ratio, all of those things. Is that something that we could keep out there in the public every month so that we have an assessment or an understanding of where it all is, so that parents know, like, hey, look, buses are running on time. They do have good results happening. And
We could certainly publish, this is a public document, we can certainly do that. And we could certainly do this once a month and have a report for you online once a month.
that would be helpful.
And also, just so everyone knows, this document tonight and from the last meeting is in the public folder for tonight's meeting. So any of the documents that we discussed that are shareable, the public can access them all through our website in the Google Drive. Okay, so May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the bus route.
Mr. Fiorello makes a motion to approve. Do you have a second? Second by Ms. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item, item F, vote to approve the superintendent's goals for the 2023-2024 school year. We did discuss this in exec. This is a personnel matter, so it's not shared in open, but we do need to approve these goals in our open meetings, so I need a motion. Motion to approve by Mrs. Rogalski. Second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. The next item is discussion and a vote to approve homeschool instruction requests for the 2023-2024 school year.
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Fiorello. Second by Ms. Vogel. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. And the next item, discussion and a vote to approve resolutions. Mr. Collins.
Thank you. I do have 23 resolutions, and since we have time, I'm going to do them each individually. Just kidding. No, but before, we actually have a crowd tonight. No, but before we begin, these were all addressed. They all passed Fiscal Management Subcommittee 3-0. But the first one is, I'm going to ask for an amendment to SCPI-10 2023-153. There was some language omitted, so I'm going to ask for an amendment for 153 to add the language on both the resolution and the fiscal note to at Ashton School. That was omitted, which is usually on there. So if I could get an amendment, I'll make a motion to amend it to add at Ashton School for 153 only.
Okay, Mr. Collins makes a motion to amend SCPR 10 2023-153 to add Ashton School. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0, so now that is amended.
Okay, so with that being said, we have we have 23 resolutions, SCPI-10 2023-144 through 166, inclusive of the amended 153. All 23 passed Fiscal Management Subcommittee 3-0, and I've moved passage to the full committee.
Mr. Collins makes a motion to approve resolutions SCPR 10 2023-144 through 166. Do we have a second? Second by Mrs. Vogel. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Collins. And one more, discussion and or vote to approve payment of bills.
Yes, we also have payment of the bills in the amount of $1,880,175.82. Payment of the bills passed Fiscal Management Subcommittee 3-0, and I would move passage to the full committee.
Mr. Collins makes a motion to approve payment of bills. Do we have a second? Second by Mrs. Vogel and Mrs. Rogalski. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Next item is school committee comments, school liaison reports. Any comments from the school committee? Ms. Smith.
I know about a month ago, we had Mr. Crowley here to get the approvals and the permissions to allow some of the runners to go to different events that have been occurring. And it was really great to hear how our girls' cross-country team, in their 22nd year, I believe, of going to the event in Belfast, Maine, took first place, my understanding, and we had quite a few of the runners that came in the top 30. So congratulations. It seems that while we had some seniors graduate, that the freshmen and the sophomores are really coming in and showing that we have a great force on our cross-country team. So it's pretty cool.
Other comments from the school committee? Okay. Next item is a vote to go into executive session.
All set.
All set. So the next item is adjournment. I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Rogalski, second by Mrs. Vogel. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned at 7:34.